everyone. My name is Reni Duarsa. I'm a nephrologist from Indonesia, a member of social media team of ISN WCN 2021. Today, we are honored to be able to have an interview with a prominent PD expert from Southeast Asia, Dr. Lily Musahar. Dr. Lily is the head of Department of Nephrology and head of Clinical Research Center, Hospital Tuanku Jafar Seremban, Malaysia. Her main interest is in peritoneal dialysis or PD. She is active in developing PD training program for doctors and nurses, not only for Malaysia, but also for Southeast Asia countries. She received nephrology fellowship training at the University of North Staffordshire Hospital, Stoke-on-Trent, UK. She is the Vice President of the Malaysian Society of Nephrology and Council Member of Malaysian Society of Diagnostic Interventional Nephrology. She is also in the ISPD Scholarship and Award Committee. She is actively involved in the ISN Sister Renal Project to develop PD services in Southeast Asia and recognized as an ISPD Fellowship Trainer. She's one of the leading persons in the development of the PD registry for Southeast Asia, PROMISE. Welcome, Dr. Lily. Glad to have you here with us tonight. Firstly, how did you enter the field of nephrology?
Thank you very much, Dr. Reni, for the kind introduction and having me here to be in this interview. So going back many years ago, when I did my postgraduate, which was way back in 1995 until year 1999. So my final thesis was involved in nephrology, which is proteinuria in pregnancy. So at that time, I presented the paper as an oral presentation, and then I managed to get a Best Paper Award. And at that time, my mentor was actually a nephrologist, Dr. Zainal Darus. So from there, I took upon my interest to do nephrology during my postgraduate time.
And then that's very interesting, Dr. Lily. What project that interests you at the moment?
My passion is in peritoneal dialysis. So we have been doing a couple of projects with my trainees. So one of them is involving probiotics to see whether it does have any impact to reduce peritonitis rate episode in PD patients. So it's still ongoing. So I'm coaching a few of my trainees to do some research papers on PD. But at the same time, I'm also involved in other international research collaboration. So at the moment, I think I have about 5 ongoing research with me. Because in our hospital, it is a tertiary referral center. So I am the state nephrologist, so I cover 7 hospitals in dialysis, hemodialysis, PD, and even transplant CKD. So I cover a lot.
So related to the ISN WCN 2021, would you mind telling us a little bit about the topic?
Most of us, a majority of the nephrologists handles a lot of advanced chronic kidney disease patients. So it is a tough situation for the nephrologists to, when they encounter this situation. In terms of, we need multidisciplinary teams to be involved in managing the patients with advanced CKD or ACKD. So if possible, of course, we want it to be in a timely manner, preparing the patient for 3 options in view of, like, we do a shared decision making, whether they want transplant, that's the most priority, dialysis, whether PD or HD, and of course, we also would like to discuss on palliative care, which is a non-dialysis therapy. So that is a 3 option that we usually discuss, and we need to do it in a timely manner, especially in dialysis, because they need dialysis access. So if they opted for HD, they need a vascular access. If they opted for PD, they need a PD catheter placement to avoid catheter dialysis, because you know that dialysis catheter has a risk of infection, thrombosis, and a lot of complication can lead the patient to more morbidity and even mortality. So the ideal world, we should plan them in a timely manner. But we do have some patients who despite being under a follow-up for 1 year, they still come in an non-ideal manner, which is crash landed. So they develop fluid overload, uremic symptoms, hyperkalemia. So without any dialysis access prepared, because they would be in a denial state, they are worried to be on dialysis. So that is a challenge. And to have a challenge when they come as a crash lander to get a timely access is very difficult. For us nephrologists to do, because our waiting list is quite long, especially if we don't have an in-house vascular surgeon. Like in my hospital, I need to refer them outside to another tertiary hospital. Some of them are quite far off. So during my talk, I will talk that PD, I think, should be a most priority, and compared to HD. Like in Malaysia, I think in other countries where we don't practice PD first policy, PD in Malaysia is only about 15% compared to hemodialysis. But in our Malaysia 12 national plan, we plan to increase the PD penetration in Malaysia. So especially during this pandemic era, we has been shown about majority of patients who are on dialysis who has COVID-19 are actually on hemodialysis patient, and only about 4% or less are actually on PD, because they don't come to the hemodialysis center, they're not exposed to more people, and they don't share transportation with other people. So that's why I think even if you agree with me that in other countries the PD patient who has COVID-19 is actually very, very low. So actually this makes us learn that PD should be the best way forward to one of the safest modality for patients in our dialysis population. During this pandemic era, our PD patient who developed COVID is very low. Like I mentioned, there were outbreaks in hemodialysis centers, but in PD patient, I think like in my hospital, we have 2 patients who developed COVID-19, and currently I have about 380 PD patients. And so when they come in with COVID, they actually got it from the community. It's not from the hospital. As compared to the hemodialysis, even my hemodialysis staff developed, they got COVID-19. So we have to make a lot of arrangement to cordon off so this pandemic doesn't spread within the hemodialysis unit. Whereas in PD, it was quite okay for us to handle, and we can cordon off to make it spread to a higher number of patients. So when they come in, PD patient comes into our hospital, of course we tend to put them on a cycler. We have a dedicated cycler machine, dedicated PD nurse to handle them. And similarly for hemodialysis patient, when they come in with COVID-19, at the moment, I have not practiced PD in acute critical care or intensive unit, because we do have CRRT, but acute PD has been shown in other countries during this pandemic era. It does work, and it is actually sorted out the issue of filter clotting when you do hemodialysis, because you know that COVID-19 tend to be hypercoagulable and they filter frequently clots. But if you do PD, you don't encounter all this. There were issues that they worried about increased ventilator setting, but they were reported only 10% developed this when they practice PD in the intensive care. So like I said, we can do urgent start PD. When you put a PD catheter, you reduce the dwell volume to prevent leakage. So you can start immediately your PD therapy when you insert a PD catheter. So you have to have a standard regime, but of course you have to have a good team who understand handling the acute PD in the intensive care.
So what would be your additional notes for audience, especially for young nephrologists and nephrologists interested in PD like me?
I think you need to have a passion. You have to be passionate whatever you do. So if you're interested in PD, you need to be passionate about it, and you need to have a lot of hands-on in handling PDP. It is a learning curve. Like currently, I am assisting Dr. Novadian and his team in Palembang to develop PD under the ISN Sister Rina project since year 2019, and Dr. Novadian has successfully inserted a PD catheter even during the COVID pandemic. And I think he's been inserting more than 10 catheters after he came here for 10 days to learn about PD catheter insertion and how to develop a PD unit. So as other people who are interested in PD, I think you have to overcome that challenge. And anything you do in life, there are challenges. So you need to overcome that and you need to develop the service. And of course, you might be frustrated in certain things, but I think frustration should not be the obstacle. There's always a way to handle this. And like I said, you have to have a good team, a good collaboration, especially within your hospital, because you need to have a good friendship with your surgeons, because whenever you have a PD catheter access problem, we need their help. And the surgeons also must be good in salvaging or handling all these catheter PD related complications. And of course, interventional radiologists is also, you need to have a good connection with them to assist you, especially if there's a leak, you need some a CT scan to find out what's the cause for this, or even if you think that the patient has developed complications like collection or EPS, encapsulating peritoneal sclerosis. So all this, you need a good networking and you need to have a good team. And I think when the young people, they notice that the team is strong, I think that will come interest to them and they want to learn PD. And I'm sure that in Indonesia, PD will one day will become more a favorite PD dialysis therapy compared to hemodialysis one day, which is our vision in Malaysia.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Lily. We've been enjoying our interview today with you, and we are looking forward to listening to your lecture at the Congress, and have a good day to all. See you at the ISN WCN 2021.